Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome to another video. So I got the 1J on an engine stand here. Took a little bit more off than probably what was in the last video, but I guess the main thing, I put it on the engine stand. So it cost me $18 for these bolts. That was outrageous, but yeah, metric stuff, that's expensive, but $18 to get that thing on there. But yeah, so goal for today is to kind of clean it up even more, get this turbo, I think this is probably feed, oil feed, and drain, get this stuff off, get this rubber off here, probably take off these hooks, get this cover off, possibly this bracket, don't need that anymore, and a few more things. Take all that off, and then I've got a whole bunch of like carb cleaner, brake parts cleaner. We're gonna be spraying down the motor, cleaning it up, and hoping it comes pretty clean, and then go ahead and assess and take a look and see what needs to be done after that. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and try cleaning up this motor. All right, so the motor is all prepped. Now it is ready to be cleaned up.
You make me feel like home. You turn around, I feel the breeze over me. You watch your dreams unfold. Let it come around and let it breathe over me. It's time to go away into the light. I feel the calming energy. I see the darkness coming, and I'm calling you to help me set me free. I'm calling for you. I'm calling for you.
All right, so here the motor is. Basically all clean. I mean, it doesn't look very clean, but it definitely has all the grease and oil off of it. Kind of actually looks worse, but you know, it's got to look worse before it gets better. So kind of walk around to the other side. And I just quickly took off the valve covers. I wanted to kind of see in here, take a look at it, see if I see anything sticking out. And it makes it a lot easier to clean down in here. I definitely found some like gasket maker around these areas, and I don't know if that was factory, but I am going to get new valve cover gaskets for under here. All this stuff, that I don't know if that's like if that came factory or not. There's a lot of that on there, but I'm gonna get new gaskets for that. But if you take a look on the ground here, you can see a pretty big spill or a leak. This motor's been sitting here for about 2 days after that, the day I cleaned it. About 2 days it's been sitting here, and this is the pile of oil from the motor, because I dried it off before I went in so that I could find the oil leak, because this motor was just super oily. There had to have been a leak somewhere. I just didn't know where it was coming from. I did not leave the valve covers off. I put those back on and then just took them off today. But yeah, all of that is just from 2 days sitting, basically, yeah, a day and a half. But I pretty well found it. this just oil pan seal right here. It's leaking somewhere probably right in here, possibly flowing over, and then just kind of dripping down and going right there. I was worried that it was leaking out of this the hole, like the bottom of the oil pan where it screws onto the block. I was worried that it was leaking there, but it's definitely dry all the way through there, and it's just real oily there, and does not seem to be oily on the other side. See how it's not as shiny? Yeah, even here I think that's just some residue left over, but yeah, I think it's all over on that other side that it was leaking. So gonna have to get a new gasket for that, or definitely turn the motor over and put some new gasket maker in there. Hopefully that fixes the problem. Pretty much that's all. Luckily it's brand new oil I put in there, so it's pretty clean. But yeah, I've been just kind of working on this, cleaning it up, sitting and looking at how I'm going to do the timing belt and stuff. I plan on getting the cam gears and the VVTi gear powder coated, and I was just wondering, how am I going to powder coat it? Like, I got to mark the lines in it, so when I put the new belt on and everything, when I put it all back together, I got to make sure it's still in time. And I was like, well, if I powder coat it, I'm going to lose my lines. Well, if you look right there, there's a little notch in the gear at top dead center. So that gear is top dead center, and then there's another notch right there, which is top dead center as well. So obviously a mark there at TDC. So that kind of solves my issue I was worried about. So I'll be able to put those back. As long as I mark the belt with the new belt, it shouldn't be a problem. But the only problem is coming up with the money to buy all the parts, because it gets expensive really quick whenever you do a timing belt. Then you got to do the tensioner, and then you got to do this part and that part and this seal, because you've already got it this far apart. You might as well do it. And then don't buy the cheap stuff, because you don't want your motor blowing up because of a $30 part when you could have paid $60 for it and it would have been OEM, and then it's just like, it starts adding up. But that is car life. So looking for kits right now that'll be the most cost effective and still perform. So yeah, that's gonna be kind of it for this video. Basically just got the motor clean, and hopefully in the next video I will have next video on the motor, at least I'll have like the timing components and everything else, and we'll be working on that. But I did get another Mishimoto box, which is an oil cooler, and this brown one here, that is the fuel cell. So 15-gallon aluminum fuel cell. I'm going to just kind of like test fit up in there a little bit later and see how low it is. So otherwise, appreciate you guys watching, and definitely stay tuned for the next one. Leave some comments, let me know how everything's going, what you guys like, any kind of feedback you can give me, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.